Bienvenidos, fans of cinema and the hottest entertainment with an edge. Jaime En Fuego again with more of our 11/22/63 coverage, and I got my partners once again.
What's up? I'm Cecil Laird.
I'm Marsh Parker.
Gracias for joining us, guys. And so this is the third episode after a slight detour in number 2. The story's really starting to pick up now, Marsha. And you, having read the book, she has special insight to offer. Myself and Cecil, once again, we're just kind of swimming blind through
Along
these
the ride.
murky waters and such. But Bueno, Malo, and Feo is the way we always like to tackle this type of entertainment coverage. And so some good, some bad, some ugly. Marsha, what did you like today?
I liked all the dancing.
That was going to be one of my other categories. But, so yeah, we're in 19th. Well, first there's a little fast forwarding because he decides to set up shop, and he's going to start staking out Mr. Lee Harvey Oswald, who we think is going to be pulling the trigger. But I mean, just like, you know, even here in real life, we don't know who ends up doing it. So
the dance scene, what I like about it is you're kind of bringing in the other side of the story of his transition into the world of 1962.
Franco's got to get a job, and he goes with a familiar profession.
Yeah, and there's some great characters that are introduced. You got Deke and Miss Donahill and Mimi too. So, which I don't really remember Mimi all that much, but I kind of do. But it's been a while.
Remind me, which one was Mimi?
Mimi is
Miss Mimi.
Yeah, Miss Mimi. She's a secretary.
Okay.
Yeah, but she's awesome.
So you like the dancing. Yeah, Franco gets a job at a school, and, you know, he was a teacher at the beginning of the story, right, Cecil? So he was going with familiar territory.
Makes
sense. Did you think this worked for the story?
Yeah, no, it did. You know, honestly, this episode, jumping right into my first Bueno, was kind of this episode overall, because I found myself being, again, I mentioned it before that the political aspect of this whole thing is sort of the less interesting aspect of it. I'm not into history that much, and I'm definitely not into conspiracy stuff. But I'm along for the ride because I like Stephen King, and this seemed like an interesting concept, and I watched the pilot and I really dug it. So I'm sort of along the ride for different reasons than a lot of people might be. But to that end, this set up a lot of interesting stuff. There was a lot of real interpersonal relationships set up between different characters. Like Marsha mentioned, Deke was another big Bueno for me in this episode.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he's absolutely awesome. He's the school principal, and he sort of was, he had a cool hiring scene with Franco's character, and there was some good interplay.
You don't see a ton of him, but he leaves his mark. He's memorable for the screen time he's there.
Exactly. So yeah, the characters overall, and just how the story is actually, you know, again, it's Stephen King. I mentioned it to you guys during the episode. A lot of his adaptations are sort of subpar because it's just a sort of a hodgepodge of whatever elements from the book they want to include. This being an 8-episode series, with the first episode being, 150% length in an hour and a half, there's a lot more time to really develop the nuances that King puts in his books.
And he develops characters so good always, you know, and give them time to actually, you know, flesh out.
Exactly,
right?
because it's making a difference. So those are my big Buenos here.
Yeah, Bueno for me, I still love the fish out of water culture shock thing for him. I mean, he's continually reminded, hey, we don't do things that way here, and that could also be an ugly, as we've spoken about before, certain racial tensions and stuff like that. But it's just very intriguing peering into this particular era, because they were on the cusp of so much significant stuff happening in the 60s. So yeah, lots of Bueno. I mean, I enjoyed performances once more, and I'm enjoying seeing this tale go forward. But as far as the Malo goes, there is one significant change that they've made for this series. Marsha knows about it because she's read the book. We touched upon it very briefly in the last episode. I don't like the kid. I don't like the kid. His character just kind of irritates me. I mean, he's like drooling over the girls when they're at the bar. Where they encounter Jack Ruby, which was kind of interesting. And was that part in the book?
I don't remember.
You're supposed to be our fact checker here.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
That must have been one of those parts that I kind of looked over. But I understand how you feel about the kid. I feel the same way too. But
how much is he in the book?
The kid?
Yeah, he's like, is he even in there at all? He's completely created for the...
Yeah, because, he does everything his own. So now I think in order to speed up the process, it makes sense for them to have somebody there to help him do all these stuff that in the book took him days and months and to actually accomplish on his own.
I heard there's lots of like internal monologue in the book, like his own thoughts and stuff,
Right.
and so I guess having another character to bounce it off of, maybe that helped. How about you, man?
Yeah, no, my Malo is the kid too, because he's so clearly being used just as a foil for a lot of the things that are going wrong for Franco's character. It's like he's trying to set up the bugs and they almost get caught because of the kid, and then they almost get caught because of the kid, and then something else happens.
The kid's holding him back. He's dead weight.
It's frustrating because, okay, well, if this isn't the story how it originally was written, it's Franco's supposed to be confident. Like, what are we missing by them adding all of these moments of the kid screwing things up? Like, what are they leaving out? Because it's not how things.
Screwing up.
Well, but see, that would seem to make, because the character would grow more, I think, if he's doing all the missteps.
Well, he's doing missteps too, but they're trying to balance it. I think they're trying to balance it up, trying to speed up the process.
That way, they're going to be able to have the A story of him and the girl, while the B story of the kid doing all the other stuff is going on.
Yeah,
but it's not the way I would go, because we don't like the kid.
Yeah.
So it's tough when you're putting half your story on something that people aren't enjoying.
I mean, I don't enjoy him like to a full extent, but he's still kind of a good. I don't know. He's okay for an add-on character.
Yeah, he's obviously being used to like streamline the plot, make it move forward a little more quickly. Even though I thought the librarian was a babe, I felt like the romance was rushed a little bit. Yeah, maybe that would be another Malo for me. There's a scene in the episode where she like just gets right to it, and I'm like, man, that's probably not the way of things in that era. But then again, she's divorced, so
she's a pretty direct lady. That's what attracts him to her in the first place. But yeah, you are right. It is a
blonde hair and blue eyes. That would attract a lot of people.
Rough.
Yeah.
But again, it goes back to the time frame. I mean, they don't have a lot of time to develop the relationship, but that is a really good romance that's fun to read about. So I encourage you to read it.
I just don't get a feeling like it's going to end well, unfortunately. Well, you never know. I'm no confirmations.
No confirmation, but my prediction is, he's gonna go. I don't know what's gonna happen with the Kennedy thing, but I think he's gonna end up staying in the time frame and not going back.
This is goes back to just mainly the show. I don't think that they're gonna have him go back. He's gone too far at this point.
Yeah. So it might be a little bit of a frou-frou Green Miley ending, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, when you found out that she had been to the same place in Maine where he was from, I was worried about a Marty McFly tie-in or something there. But hey, who knows? And that would be ugly. So that would be a good time for us to segue into the ugly portion of this, the Feo. Obviously, we can touch upon the sisters of Southern heritage and all that stuff, but that's like still beating the whole dead horse of the whole culture shock and the ugliness of that. I'm kind of surprised that Franco's got a little bit of a mean streak. It's a little bit of ugliness, like dropping the F-bombs and getting in the gas worker's face and everything. Yeah. I mean, he's really kind of an emotional guy sometimes, and it's some ugliness.
That wasn't that bad, I mean, when you think about it, the husband in the last episode, that's an example of an extreme case of a guy with a bad temper. Franco's not that bad. I mean, he got in the guy's face.
He's got a little more edge than I was expecting.
When the guy was going to, walking towards him, he stopped him with his arm. But I think it's completely warranted.
Well, he's also beating up the kid in his sleep and stuff. I mean, I think he's got a little bit of a mean streak, a little bit of an edge to himself.
That's PTSD.
That's PTSD though. That's
Well, yeah, that creates a mean streak, or creates just some roughness around the edges, and I don't know. Trying to think.
I think it's working. I think it's working for me.
I see where you're coming from.
I think it made it more compelling.
Yeah.
For me. Yeah.
We've touched on it before. The ugly for me has been sort of the forefrontness of the racism that was rampant in the country at the time, and it was actually played even more interestingly in this episode. So again, the ugly is turned to a bueno in this instance, because there's a point at which everyone's just sort of having a normal morning, and Franco is commiserating with his fellow teachers and stuff like that, and they're in the principal's area, and he just he's pouring coffee for everyone, and he just looks over at Ms. Mimi, who's the black receptionist, and he's like, "Can I pour you a cup?" And the whole room goes still.
Yeah,
and I think it even sort of, it took Fuego a second, because he's just like, "Wait, what'd I miss?" And I'm just like, oh no, he offered her a cup of coffee, and that's why, because it was so, it felt
Very
so weird
nonchalant.
that the whole room just stopped, and you're like, wait, what I missed? Because it's like, he just offered her a cup of coffee, what I missed? And it's like, no, that is the big thing that stopped the room. Like, so it's being done so very well. These things.
It is, it's being woven in perfectly to get the point across and just give that authenticity and.
So I'm digging, I'm digging on this particular ugly.
Yeah. Absolutely. Any Feo for you, Ms. Marsha Parker?
Well,
MPH?
They're not staying undercover very well. They're drawing a lot of attention to themselves in many different situations. And
sorry, Mom.
I mean, it's gonna happen for sure because he's trying to transition. But I just. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I just don't remember him standing out this much with it being the gas station or because of him at that apartment with the kid. They're getting called homos and they draw that in.
That does draw more attention, so that's a definite.
And that was he was super quiet during that time frame when he was watching Oswald. Like,
well, but it has to be more dramatic for the show.
Yeah,
you got to keep people engaged.
That's true. But it's just kind of like, well,
if it's just a full episode of him doing preparations, it's not gonna fly.
It's true. But yeah, it was kind of funny when he's talking to the kid and he's like, we need to blend in, and then he's just doing all these things to stick out like a sore thumb. So it's it's an interesting dichotomy. So yeah, I guess unless you guys had a little bit more to add, predictions and anticipations, I like where the story's going, but this one ended on more of a cliffhanger than I think any bit of the previous 2 episodes, at least. I mean, we're only 3 in, right? So it's like, but yeah, total cliffhanger. It's just like, boom, abrupt. And I was wishing for binge watching, but it's still weekly, so we gotta wait.
We're getting to the meat of the story now, where we're starting to get more into the political aspect. Everybody's either starting to follow Oswald into different things. The main event's about to happen, and he's starting to build relationships, so... I know where this story is going, but I'm really excited, and I'm not going to let anything go. But I'm really excited to see how they do it on the screen.
Well, that's good that it's got that appeal to people like Cecil and myself that have not read the book, and then somebody who has is still appreciating it. So that's a good thing, guys. So another good thing is that we still have. 5 more episodes. So yeah, this is going to be pretty rad. I'm excited. So I got to extend a grande gracias for the 3rd episode covering with these guys. And we also do a spooktacular show together that Cecil is going to give you the rundown on. So take it away, Monfrere.
That is, of course, our horror variety show on YouTube called The Horror Show. That's youtube.com/The Horror Show channel. And basically you can go there and see us do reviews like this. But we just did a series review on Ash vs. Evil Dead.
Yeah.
So we also do movie reviews, how-tos, comedy sketches, celebrity interviews,
video game let's plays.
We're about to sit down and have some Alien versus Predator action.
I'm so pumped.
Tune in, you guys. There's a lot of good stuff over there.
Mortal Kombat XL. It's going to be baller. And I got to extend a gracias once more to MPH Marsha Parker for helping out. You can find me, Jaime En Fuego, on all social media sectors: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, here on YouTube. So we always keep it fresh. We always keep it fun. And I'm looking forward to more coverage with you guys.
Yes, absolutely.
Heck yeah. So we will see you guys soon. Hasta luego, sin amigos. And I will see you sooner rather than later, I'm hoping. Adios.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace out.